Select a few passages. Let me start my recording here. All right, so first we'll read something from the Chaitanya Charitamrita, and then we will recite just a few bhajans. So the Adi Leela of the Chaitanya Charitamrita is setting the stage for the rest of the work, and in this chapter 5, the author, Krishnadas Kaviraj, is concentrating on Lord Nityananda. What is his position in relation to the Supreme Lord, Sri Krishna? So, how many of you here speak Bengali? Quite a few. So forgive my mispronunciation. I'm not born in Bengal, nor have I studied Bengali, but just from associating with my spiritual master Srila Prabhupada, I do my best. Eshat shloke kaila Krishna Chaitanya Mahima Pancha shloke kai Nityananda Tattasima. Translation: I have described the glory of Sri Krishna Chaitanya in 6 verses. Now in 5 verses I shall describe the glories of Lord Nityananda. Sarvavatari Krishna Swayam Bhagavan Tarhara Ditya Deha Shri Balarama. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, is the fountainhead of all incarnations. Lord Krishna is his second body. So an extra puri for anybody who can recite the verse from the Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, that supports this statement. That Krishna is the fountainhead of all incarnations. It's to Bhagavan. Give this man extra puri, yeah.
That's only half the verse. That's only half.
The rest of it is Indriyara Vyakulam Lokam Mridayanti Yage Yage. So that verse, because prior to that verse there was a whole list, 28, I think it was, or 23. Just, that's not all of the incarnations of Krishna, just the prominent ones. And then the author is saying that out of all of those incarnations that have been mentioned, the most prominent or most important is Krishna, because he is the fountainhead of all of them. So Lord Balaram is his, meaning Krishna's, second body. Purport: Lord Sri Krishna, the absolute personality of Godhead, is the primeval Lord, the original form of Godhead, and his first expansion is Sri Balaram. The personality of Godhead can expand himself in innumerable forms. The forms that have unlimited potency are called Swangsha, and forms that have limited potencies, the living entities, are called Vibhinangsha. So we should always remember that. The Supreme Lord is unlimited, and we are limited in terms of potency. So simultaneously one and different. Oneness in terms of quality, but difference in terms of quantity. Unfortunately, many people don't know that. So they think themselves to be God. Text 5. Eka iswarupadhane binna matrakai adyakai vyoha Krishna lila rasahai. These two are one and the same identity. They differ only in form. Lord Balaram is the first bodily expansion of Krishna, and he assists in Lord Krishna's transcendental pastimes. Purport: Balaram is a Swangsha expansion of the Lord, and therefore there is no difference in potency between Krishna and Balaram. The only difference is in their bodily structure. As the first expansion of Godhead, Balaram is the chief deity among the first quadruple forms, and he is the foremost assistant of Sri Krishna in his transcendental activities. Text 6. Say Krishna Navadipe Sri Chaitanya Chandra, say Balarama Sange Sri Nityananda. Translation: That original Lord Krishna appeared in Navadvip as Lord Chaitanya, and Balaram appeared with him as Lord Nityananda. Now that's stated also in a very famous bhajan, Who knows what I'm thinking of? Come on, if you're from Bengali, you have to know this. Brajendra Nandanaye Sachi Suta Hoila Se Balaram Hoila Nitai. Yes. These bhajans, you're very fortunate if you speak Bengali, because these sweet bhajans given by so many of our acharyas, written in Bengali, are meant for you. The rest of us can only try to catch up. But all these Bengali bhajans and the Chaitanya Charitamrita itself is meant primarily for those of you who are born in that part of the world. And it's a prime object of learning for you. If you grow up and you learn everything about IT and AI and this and that, but you don't know these bhajans, your life was not properly used. Your intelligence was misused. So if you speak Bengali, if you can read Bengali, don't waste time. Learn all these bhajans of Narottam Das Thakur, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and read Chaitanya Charitamrita over and over again. Srila Prabhupada said, his spiritual master Srila Bhaktisiddhanta said, if all books in the world were destroyed and the only one left was Chaitanya Charitamrita, there would be no loss. And Prabhupada himself, when he was coming over on Jaladuta to America and he was having heart attacks, he said, my only solace is reading Chaitanya Charitamrita. So again, I implore you, if you can read it in the original Bengali, you're blessed. So, text 7. Sankarshana karnato shai gorbada shai garbhoda shai chapayo bidashai sheshasyasyang shakalaksa nitya nandakira maksharanang mamastu. May Sri Nityananda be the object of my constant remembrance. Sankarshan, Sheshanaga, and the Vishnus who lie on the Karna ocean, Garbha ocean, and the ocean of milk are his plenary portions, and the portions of his plenary portions. Purport. Sri Sarup Damodar Goswami has recorded this verse in his diary to offer his respectful obeisances to Lord Nityananda Prabhu. This verse also appears as the 7th of the first 14 verses of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. How many of you have read Chaitanya Charitamrita beginning to end? Adi, Madhya, Antya. If you haven't, again, you must. If you have a set at home and you haven't cracked it, dive into it. And if you don't have a set, see Maharaj after class. He'll be happy to sell you a set.
Or a Sundarshan. We have them in Bengali too.
All right, there you go. Number 8. Shri Balaram Goswami Mula Sankarshana Pancharupa Dhari Karena Krishna Sevana. Lord Balaram is the original Sankarshan. He assumes 5 other forms to serve Lord Krishna. Apane Karena Krishna Lila Rasahai Shishti Lila Kare Kare Dhare Charikai. He himself helps in the pastimes of Lord Krishna, and he does the work of creation in 4 other forms. Text number 10. Shishyari Kaseva Tanna Agara Palan Shesharupi Kara Krishna Vivida Sevan. He executes the orders of Lord Krishna in the work of creation, and in the form of Lord Shesha, he serves Krishna in various ways. Purport. According to expert opinion, Balaram, as the chief of the original quadruple forms, is also the original Sankarshan. Balaram, the first expansion of Krishna, expands himself in 5 forms: Maha Sankarshan, Karandabhishai, Garbhodakashai, Kshirodakashai, and Shesha. These 5 plenary portions are responsible for both the spiritual and material cosmic manifestations. In these 5 forms, Lord Balaram assists Lord Krishna in his activities. The first 4 of these forms are responsible for the cosmic manifestations, whereas Shesha is responsible for personal service to the Lord. Shesha is called Ananta, or unlimited, because he assists the personality of Godhead in his unlimited expansions by performing an unlimited variety of services. Sri Balaram is the servitor Godhead who serves Lord Krishna in all affairs of existence and knowledge. Lord Nityananda Prabhu, who is the same servitor Godhead, Balaram, performs the same service to Lord Gauranga by constant association. So the takeaway from this is that the expansions of Krishna, Balaram, and then through Balaram, all of the other expansions in the spiritual world, they all have this mood of service. The reason why we stay in this material world is because we refuse to accept this mood of service. And in a way we can't be blamed, because since time immemorial we're trying to serve each other, and it never works out. It never works out. Because when you're dealing with another conditioned soul, you cannot expect perfection. Each conditioned soul is conditioned by 4 different defects. Everybody should know these. Imperfect senses, subject to illusion, always prone to err is human. We have that saying. So always making mistakes. And in spite of those 3 faults, cheating propensity. Because even though we have faults, we present ourselves as being infallible, isn't it? How many people do you know that present themselves as being infallible? You question about anything, and they get hot under the collar.
Internet is full of people.
Who are you to question me? Not just the internet, even in our society. I don't want to name any names, but when I had a wife, we used to go walking a lot with one sannyasi who liked to hike also. We used to like to hike all through the mountains. And then one day she said, I don't want to go with him anymore because he is always right about everything. Doesn't matter what you talk about, music, politics, anything. He has to be right. And she couldn't stand that. Because nobody wants to be around a know-it-all, somebody who... But Krishna is the know-it-all because everything emanates from him. So when Balaram appears as Nityananda, he has this mood of service to Lord Chaitanya, even though externally he was elder. Lord Nityananda appeared before Lord Chaitanya. He was elder by almost 13 years. And as you know the story, he appeared to one Hadai Pandit, and Padmavati was the wife, mother. But when he was 12 years old, one sannyasi came to their village and asked, give me your son to go traveling with me as my traveling assistant. And by Vedic culture, they couldn't say no. So this sannyasi, it's stated that he's Lakshmipati, so he took Nityananda on a long pilgrimage throughout India. For 20 years he was traveling. So he left home at age 12. He was traveling all over India. And then finally he came to Navadvip when he was age 32. And at that time, Mahaprabhu was age 20. So they're obviously eternal companions, never actually separate. But sometimes this mood of separation is there. So that when they meet again, it's ecstatic. So that's what happened. He came to Navadvip. He was hiding in the house of Chandanacharya. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Nityananda is here. Go and find him. Go and find him. Devotees looked, primarily Haridas Thakur. They were looking everywhere. They came back to report. And Mahaprabhu couldn't stand the separation anymore. He himself went. And then they got together and in this mood of meeting. So this is spiritual. We serve quite often, if not almost all the time, in the mood of separation. And then when there's meeting, it's ecstatic. So both are ecstatic. Both the Vipalamba Seva and when you actually meet the object of your desires. Not like on the material platform where they say, absence makes the heart grow fonder, but too much absence makes the heart wonder. So those of you I know there are some of you who are doing business in America, but your family's back in India. Don't stay away too long. Make sure you go back as often as possible. Because on the material platform, again, everybody's looking for instant gratification. So for some time, they'll miss you, and then they may continue to tell you that they miss you, but something is going on. So don't stay away too long. But on the spiritual platform, this business of serving in separation, Prabhupada said this is the highest. It's the highest. Because, and most of Prabhupada's disciples actually served in that mode. Prabhupada made about 5,000 disciples, and the vast majority of them didn't get to spend any significant time with Prabhupada. Some of them actually never saw him. They were recommended for initiation by letter, and Prabhupada wrote back by letter to accept them, and they were initiated by proxy because Prabhupada couldn't be everywhere all the time. But because they gave their heart to Prabhupada, they rendered so much invaluable service. Now I was fortunate. My first initiation in 74 was by proxy. Prabhupada accepted me by letter, but he wasn't there for the first initiation. But the second initiation I got from Prabhupada in his quarters during the Mayapur Festival in 1976. And because my main service was BBT, book production, I actually got to spend significant time with Prabhupada, because you've heard of that 17 volumes in 2 months marathon. So Prabhupada came to New Dwarka, Los Angeles, and sat down to push us. So every day we got to hear him give class. And also in New York, I was fortunate just after I joined Prabhupada, came to New York. So my point is not all of Prabhupada's disciples were so fortunate. Not everybody was that fortunate, but they were serving in that mood of separation. So we're meant to eventually develop that strong mood of separation, service in separation, not just I miss you, I miss you. Do something in spite of the fact that I miss you, to go on serving. Now, I wanted to also read something from no, that's not what I wanted to read. Let's minimize this. Let's go. So we're going to recite one of those bhajans that I'm pushing you, especially if you speak Bengali, to learn. This is called Srinagar Kirtan, Kirtan in the city. And let's zoom in a little more. You should actually chant. You know how to chant this, right? You know it? Yeah. So you chant the Bengali and I'll do the translation. Yeah, you can play it on harmonium if you want. Or just sing. Nariya Gojo me Nityananda Mahajan. In the land of Nadia, on the island of Godruma, the magnanimous Lord Nityananda has opened up the marketplace of the holy name meant for the deliverance of all fallen souls. Shraddhavana jana hai, Shraddhavana jana hai. Prabhuragai vai magaya bhiksha. Oh, Bala Krishna, Bhaja Krishna, Koro Krishna, Shiksha. O people of faith, O people of faith, by the order of Lord Gauranga, O brothers, I beg these three requests of you. Chant Krishna, worship Krishna, and teach others about Krishna. Can we do that? Yes, everybody can do that, right? It's not very difficult. Chant Hare Krishna mantra, worship Krishna at home or in the temple, and whoever you meet, tell them something about Krishna. But the best way to teach them about Krishna is to get them to take one of Prabhupada's books. Okay? Aparada shunya hoye lo Krishna na. Hey, Krishna Mata, Krishna Pita, Krishna Dhana Pran. Being careful to remain free of offenses. Just take the holy name of Lord Krishna. Krishna is your mother. Sometimes people ask, why does God have to be male? Now we know. Krishna is your mother. Krishna is your father. And Krishna is the treasure of your life.
Krishna ra samsara karo chadi anacha.
Krishna ra samsara karo chadi anacha.
Jivedaya Krishna nam sarva dharma shar.
Jivadaya Krishna nam sarva dharma shar. Giving up all sinful activities. What are the 4 sinful activities we have to promise to give up? No meat eating, no intoxication, no illicit sex, no gambling. So, giving up all of those, all sinful activities, carry on your worldly duties. You could be a lawyer, a bus driver, a teacher, whatever you are. Carry on. You don't have to stop. Only in relation to Lord Krishna. But we have to be intelligent. There was one young lady in Los Angeles. She was a school teacher. And she took this a little too literally. She was teaching elementary school, and every day she tried to get the kids to chant Hare Krishna and give them some Bhagavad Gita verse. And the administrators told her, stop. But she wouldn't stop. She was too fired up. So finally she got fired. So we have to be intelligent. It's not that you have to preach Bhagavad Gita directly to everybody you meet, but just by your presence, especially if where you live, you can go out dressed like a devotee, do that. You go to Trader Joe's or Whole Foods or wherever dressed like a devotee, people will talk to you. I remember it was already after Rath Yatra. I went to Trader Joe's, and one of the workers there said, oh, when is your festival? I said, you just missed it. It was last Saturday. He said, oh, he was so disappointed. So when people see that you're a devotee, they will approach you to talk about Krishna. You don't have to force them. So carry on your worldly duties only in relation to Lord Krishna. The showing of compassion to other souls by loudly chanting the holy name of Krishna is the essence of all forms of religion. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So this is so easy to do, and that's all Lord Nityananda is asking us to do. Chant Hare Krishna, try to induce others to chant. The easiest way to do that, again, go out dressed like a Vaishnava, but go out with other devotees. If you can go out on the Harinam party, go out as often as possible. But if you're really fired up, go out on your own. One of my godbrothers is now departed. His name is Siddha Vidya. When I joined in Henry Street Temple in 73, he was there. But a few years later, he moved to Miami, and he stayed in the Miami temple for decades. He was so dedicated to Harinam that he would go out by himself if there was nobody else. The last time I saw him in person, literally, was, unfortunately, a long time ago, 88, I went to Miami on business. I was in business at the time. And he said, Arcita, you want to come with me on Harinam? I said, sure. I thought it was going to be a party. It was just the two of us. So we went downtown Miami chanting Hare Krishna. But like I said, if there was no one else, he would go by himself. And the shopkeepers all along that, forget the name of the avenue, they loved him so much because he's such a pure soul, and they just loved his chanting. They would call out to him, hey, they call him, his name was Siddha Vidya, but they would just say, hey, Sid, how you doing? So when he passed away, and they heard, because they were asking, where's Sid? We haven't seen him in a while. When they heard that he passed away, they literally cried, tears. That's the effect that one serious devotee can have on non-devotees. So every one of us has that potential. Prabhupada said you just have to have two things to make rapid progress in Krishna consciousness. Be serious and be sincere. And not everybody will have the same impact. Not everybody will have the same level of knowledge or whatever. But to your best, whatever gift Krishna has given you. Every one of us here can read. We're literate, everybody here. So read. Read. And if you read Srila Prabhupada's books, then you don't have to be convinced to share it with others. Because you get so much. And it's a natural human tendency that whatever we find in life that's nice, whether it's something to eat or to see or a place to go, we naturally share it. That's just natural human tendency. So if you really dive into Prabhupada's books and you're getting the juice, the nectar, then you don't have to be asked to distribute them. You just naturally want to do it because you want others to experience the same thing. All right, so we don't have much time. There's one other thing we'll go to here. So let's go to the database. Oops, sorry. Clicked on the wrong button. I want to expand it. There you go. So I don't think we have time to chant this, so we'd love to chant it. Nittai Pada Kamala, but we'll just do the purport by Srila Prabhupada. Now again, all of this is accessible. If you have the computer, you must have the database. But as I was saying last night, 22nd Avenue, I gave the class there, this little device has enough potency to carry all of Prabhupada's books. All of Prabhupada's books. So anywhere you go, you can sit down and read. And on top of that, most of us have internet access on our phone. So you can go to database.io, and again, the books are there. Everything is there. There's no reason to fall into Maya. Wherever we are, we can stay Krishna conscious just by picking up our phones. Unfortunately, quite often we pick up the phone and we allow it to put us into Maya because we're searching for all kinds of stuff, even during japa. So I always say, don't allow anybody to interrupt your japa. Anybody who interrupts your japa is a japa terrorist. And you should not succumb to that kind of terrorism. During your japa period, if somebody approaches you, just tell them, can it wait a couple of hours till I'm finished with my rounds? And you'll find most of the time it's not urgent. You can wait. However, quite often we are our own worst enemies when it comes to japa. We are the number one japa terrorists to ourselves. Why? Because we keep this thing close by. And we're chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Don't do that. Don't do that. Put down the phone somewhere. If you're such an important fellow or woman that you think you're going to be getting some important call or message, at least don't keep it in your hand. Keep it where you can see it if it's flashing. Put it in silent mode and you can see if it's flashing. And you'll find most of the times nobody's going to disturb you, because best time to chant japa is in the Brahma Muhurta hour, which is like right after Mangal Arti and Tulsi Puja, up until greeting of the deity. Those 2 hours, you should chant your japa as far as possible. And in that time of day, most people are still sleeping. They're not going to disturb you. So you put the phone away and try to really absorb Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. When Lord Chaitanya was getting ready to go on his journey south, he didn't want any of his devotees to go with him. They all wanted to go, but he said no. Nityananda was trying to trick him. He said, but my dear Lord, you're going to need to have at least one change of clothes. You're going to need a water pot. And you're going to be chanting. And how was Lord Chaitanya chanting? With one hand, he was keeping track of his rounds. So Nityananda said, if one hand you're carrying stuff and the other hand you're counting your rounds, you need somebody to help. But Lord Chaitanya said, no. He said, no, I want you to go preach in Bengal. I'm going south. Nityananda, being the serious servant of Lord Chaitanya, he agreed. And there's a verse there, it's in the, if I remember correctly, the 7th chapter of Adi Lila, where he says that whenever you give me an order, whether that order brings pleasure or displeasure, I will carry it out. So that's the mood of a serious devotee. It's not that we only engage in devotional service when it makes us happy, giddy. No. Sometimes the spiritual master asks you to do something that externally may not make you happy. And the prime example is Arjuna. Lord Krishna wanted him to fight in this battle, not just to fight, which is his nature anyway, he was a Kshatriya, but to kill Bhishma Deva, his grandfather, Dronacharya, his spiritual master, and so many other people on the battlefield that he knew personally. We're not being asked to do that. We're not being asked to kill our grandfather or guru. We're just being asked to chant Hare Krishna and hear about Krishna, Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, hear from Krishna, hear about Krishna, and then as our ecstasy in those practices increases, we'll naturally want to share with others. So we'll just read a little bit. We have a few minutes here. So Prabhupada is explaining this Nittai Pada Kamala, which is from Manak Shiksha. He says, this is a very nice song, sung by Narottam Das Thakur. He advises that Nittai Pada, the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda, Kamala means lotus and Pada means feet, are a shelter where one will get the soothing moonlight, not only of one, but of millions of moons. We can just imagine the aggregate total value of the soothing shine of millions of moons. In this material world, Jagat, which is progressing toward hell, everybody agree? Progressing? I don't agree. It's already hell. It's not progressing towards hell. It's already hell. Just tell the people in any country practically. Most of them are being burned up by the fire of misleadership. And Prabhupada said that when he's here. He said, in general, people are good, but the leaders are bad. And therefore, the whole situation becomes polluted and hellish. So it's not progressing to, it's already hell. Who wants to go and live in Ukraine right now? Nobody. But Ukraine is only one hotspot. There are so many hotspots around the world. And even here in the United States, we're supposedly free, but we know what's going on. That freedom is being gradually eroded because of bad leadership. So that's why the Battle of Kurukshetra was fought. Krishna wanted to establish Yudhishthira as the emperor of the whole world, because when there is a Krishna-conscious, God-conscious leader, then there is opportunity for people to be actually happy. For the last many centuries, all the leaders around the world, their only platform is economic development. And the vast majority of the people around the world are poor. So they fail miserably at their prime objective, which is economic development. And we see only 1 or 2% of people around the world are actually benefiting from that. And even they are not happy. They may have millions, billions in the bank, and they're not happy. So you should take that to heart. Don't strive just for economic development. You're not going to be happy. Money can't buy happiness. We all know that. I've said this many times. Got this from Ambarish, my god brother. Some of you may know who he is. He said the rich people know this is true because they have money and they're not happy. And the poor people hope that is true because they're envious. They don't want to see the rich people happy by having money. But don't worry, they have money and they're not happy. Some of them are so unhappy that they commit suicide. So money is not the solution. Don't make your whole life just in the pursuit of happiness by gaining money, because it's not going to work. You will not be happy. Krishna says, Dukala Yama Shashvatam. This whole universe, from top to bottom, there's misery and it's temporary. And we are eternal, so we can't be happy in a miserable, temporary atmosphere. All right, just one few more lines and then we'll stop. There is always a blazing fire, and everyone is struggling hard without finding peace. Therefore, if the world wants to have real peace, it should take shelter under the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda. Ki Jai. That's why we're here. Take shelter of Lord Nityananda. So, on this day, festival of celebrating the appearance of Lord Nityananda, let's all take a vow to dive deeply under the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda and beg him. Nitya means eternal. Ananda means bliss. If you want to be happy, if you want to be blissful, you must approach Nityananda. So tonight, all of us should consciously and vociferously beg Lord Nityananda for shelter under his lotus feet. And then we will begin to taste the real spiritual happiness for which we are always anxious. Lord Nityananda ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Bhaktavrinda ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So we have time for one question. They said 3 minutes. So
Okay.
anybody have a question?
Yes.
Oh. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Wow. Oh, I see. This is for the recording. Okay. Prabhu, thank you so much. What is the best way to please Lord Nityananda in order to get Lord Nityananda's mercy, to which will facilitate one's getting purified and advancing in Krishna consciousness?
Yeah, so that first bhajan that we chanted, Nadia Gojume Nityananda Mahajan, Patiyachi Nam Atat Jivar Karan. He has come to open the marketplace of the chanting of the holy name. So if you approach Lord Nityananda and say, please engage me in assisting you in spreading the chanting of the holy name, he will grab you. Lord Nityananda does not take any offense. That doesn't mean we should try to offend him. No. But he doesn't take offense. He is willing to approach the most fallen. We know from the Jagai Madai Leela. He heard about these two dacoits, these brothers who were born in a Brahminical family, but they were so fallen, they were simply attached to womanizing and intoxicating. But he decided, no better candidate. If we can deliver these two brothers, everybody will understand how potent is Lord Chaitanya's movement. So he specifically sought them out. It's not that he just bumped into them. He specifically looked for the most fallen. So I don't know about you, but I feel that I'm even worse than Jagai Madai. So I am very, very indebted to Lord Nityananda's representative, Srila Prabhupada, because Lord Nityananda is Guru Tattva. So all gurus are representatives of Lord Nityananda. So we should approach our spiritual master in that mood, begging for the mercy to be given to us so that we can appreciate what we have. Because that's what keeps us from not making progress. We don't appreciate what we've been already given. We appreciate if somebody says, hey, let me take you to Karamba Cafe and buy you a dessert. That's nice. But this process of Krishna consciousness, of bhakti yoga, is the best gift that we can get. And we've all been given that. That's why we're here. We've come in contact with this process of bhakti yoga. We just have to take it seriously, be sincere, and be grateful. If we have those three things going, then the path is open. Path back to home, back to God, it is open. And we will want to take as many people as possible with us. Because again, we're not selfish, right? Whatever we find that's appreciable, that we like, we immediately want to share with others. Hare Krishna. Jai. Hari Bol.